Ann Douglas is a really lovely woman. She's the best-selling author of more than 30 books on parenting. I just finished one and it nearly killed me, and she's written 30. So she's a regular contributor on CBC Radio. She delivers keynote addresses and leads workshops and conferences about parenting all across the country. So I'm really looking forward to having another conversation with her about parenting. Let's bring in Ann Douglas.
Hi, Mark.
Ann, hi. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
No worries. I'm just amazed that you have anything left to give the world after 4 hours of like live interviews and so on. Like, holy Toledo, that's like a cognitive marathon.
We still have a few more to go, and actually, I feel badly for the producers on the back end who have to listen to me talk for 6 hours straight. But you know what? I'm sure that kids, you're a parent yourself, of course. They say that about their own parents too. Everybody else might like to listen to them speak, but then when you get home, you're just a parent, right?
Oh yeah, kids keep you humble.
Have your kids read any of your books? Any of your 30 books?
Yes, and actually, my son Eric read Parenting Through the Storm, and he posted on Facebook, "I am loving this Eric character in your book." So I took that as like the closest thing I'm ever going to get as an endorsement, right?
So tell me about that then. So you're a parenting expert. You're one of, you've written all those books about parenting. How does your personal experience, your family, your kids come into your writing and your expertise that you share with other parents?
Yes, it definitely informs everything I think about and write about, but I'm always, protective of my kids' privacy because I always feel like, I'm their mom. I'm privy to, decades of information about them. So I'm always really careful about checking with them if I'm going to tell sort of like a personal story about them, that kind of thing. But in a more global way, when it comes to my perspective, I'm an open book, right? Like I don't mind telling people that, I'm like a gloriously imperfect parent. I definitely, make mistakes like everybody, because every once in a while I'll get somebody who comes up to me at a parenting show and they'll say, you're going to think I'm the worst parent in the world. And they tell me a story and I'm thinking like, sounds like you're actually a pretty committed and caring parent. So I think sometimes people think that if you write parenting books, you totally have your act together. No, it just means that you've probably struggled with it to an extent where you're navel gazing and analyzing and trying to learn, or at least that was certainly my journey, being fascinated by the potential of parenting and wanting to learn more about it, and then getting really excited like, wow, I'm learning all this cool stuff. And of course, so much of my writing is based in stories of other parents and so on. So like right now I'm just finishing a book, finishing the research for a book, which is a very different thing than having actually finished the book. And it's for and about women at midlife. So really grappling into what is it like to be a woman at midlife. And I think I've had like 89 conversations so far, and my head is just exploding. But I love the stories. I love learning from other people in real time, right?
Yeah. When you talk to that many people, I found this with podcasting, with shows like this too, there's usually a common thread that weaves throughout them. Have you yet been able to tease out the common threads in the research for your upcoming book?
Well, I think a lot of women talk about the fact that they feel like there's so much information about, being a teenager or whatever, but there's such a dearth of useful information about being a woman at midlife. And yes, there are a lot of health books, but not necessarily about sort of like the midlife experience. What does it mean to be at this stage? And, am I the only person who's like feeling like, shouldn't I have it all figured out by now? And I can tell you like, just the learning and the growth and the challenging cultural conversations we've had over the last year. Like I have probably learned more in the past year than I did in the previous 5 years or a decade, like just because the world hit pause and we had that time for really deep reflection and learning. I feel like sort of like midlife is about that kind of thinking anyways, and add a pandemic on top of that. And it's been kind of a mind-blowing time. I mean, in so many ways for so many people, right?
Yeah, that idea that we should have it all figured out, whatever our area that we speak to. I've experienced that acutely as in the mental health advocacy space, when people expect you to have your stuff all together, and then the other night I go home really stressed out and I ate 3 cheeseburgers in bed. was disgusting. It was
Well, if as long as the sheets survived, I guess it's okay, right?
Tell me about so let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. It's more than the elephant in the room. It basically is the room.
Yes.
How has this been impacting parents, according to those that you've been speaking with?
Oh my heavens. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of workplace town halls and community town halls hosted by schools or nonprofits and so on. And the guilt that parents are feeling. And I keep trying to make the point to them that, like, you're not the one who should be feeling guilty. It's the systems that have let you fall through the cracks or feel like you're being sandwiched with, an impossible burden and exhausted. And, really worried about what's the long-term impact going to be on their kids and trying to focus on what is within their control and what is not within their control. So, and a lot of emotion, like just, people are feeling like, they've been treading water and they've been doing it for almost a year now, and it's not necessarily getting any easier. I think that we have a whole new level of challenge coming in the months ahead with some of the new variants. So parents are very worried about that. And also we're trying to hold on to hope and optimism because, there are some vaccines coming down the pipeline. So I guess it's just like, so many emotions all at once and people feeling like mentally exhausted by the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful that we have Ann Douglas and her 30 books to help us guide through the parenting challenges that we've all been facing. And it's always such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for coming on the
You
show.
too, Mark. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye bye.